the celebration of life.
Hi, welcome to Simcha, a celebration of life. I'm your host, Eitan Berger. Ohrsom Students is an initiative of Ohrsom in Johannesburg, which provides young adults with a platform to meet in a safe environment, sharing Jewish experiences, participating in various study programs, and generally doing like all young people do, having fun. The Simcha team recently joined these students at one of their get-togethers.
Ohrsom Students is an organization for Jewish university students. It basically is a place where we show and encourage young Jewish people and teach them about their heritage. We've just opened up a whole community center for Jewish university students. So we have a shul here that the kids can come on the Sabbath. And we have Jurim, those are basically lectures about Judaism. And in those lectures, we're more dynamic and more modern, trying to bring on all different ways of life that are relevant for the Jewish university student.
So I think one of the most simple frustrations that we find being Jewish people is that Judaism as a practice isn't always clearly and overtly spiritual. In other words, we can do rituals and we can experience a lot of traditional behavior, but the actual experiential dynamic of Judaism isn't always heightened, transcendent, clearly spiritual.
We now have around 250 students in our weekly participation through our vast array of programs. We have tremendously talented educators. We've basically been able to touch people in a way that we feel we were looking for something like it for a number of years now.
If you think about it, the makeup of the spiritual system basically is a composition of two things.
I went on the Ohrsom tour in June to Israel, and it was a very moving and spiritual trip for me, and it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of good times with everyone.
The highlight of the year is the Israel trip. And the point of the trip is really to take them to Israel, to get them inspired, to want to be involved in our organization and with Torah learning, and just get them on the track to be involved Jewishly after high school.
Through our tours, we basically enable the participants to commit to a 32-week program, which we've tried to create as a structured curriculum in order to basically engage and enable our students to feel that they don't just have an exciting experience overseas, but they can actually try and develop and concretize that experience into something long-lasting and something real. And that we do through our Tuesday night learning program, which is called Learn and Journ. And we learn together for 2 45-minute sessions with a little break in between. We get interesting talks of mysticism and Kabbalah, modern-day life issues, and basically try and show that even though Judaism is an ancient religion, Judaism is something that has basically been with us for 3,300 years. Nevertheless, in the modern world, with all its modern-day advancements, with its technological advancements and everything of the above, nonetheless, Judaism has a value and Judaism has a say.
It was very moving and inspirational, and it was the best tour I've ever been on.
So we have a lot of fun in the program, and it's a very open program. They're allowed to go out at nights, and they come back whenever they want. So from that perspective, they have an unbelievable time. But at the same time, there's a learning element to the program, and I'd say 5 or 6 mornings of the 2 weeks, we either go to yeshiva or seminary, to Ohrsom and Neve Yerushalayim, and they're involved in the classes there, and they participate in the classes there. They get a lot of inspiration and growth from that, and it's really a mixture between growth and fun, you know. The best way to grow is if you're having fun at the same time.
The tour was the perfect balance between really spiritual and learning and also really fun at the same time. The heads of the tour were all amazing. Meeting people of our age group with the same mindset was really great.
Yeah, I've learned a lot in terms of Judaism, and also you get the opportunity to be with Jewish people your own age, which is a great opportunity every week to be able to have.
We're very excited about the fact that on a Shabbos day, even though people have the opportunity to go to Sandton City to shop, or they can play a round of golf, or they can basically do whatever their heart desires. Nevertheless, they're at our shul, and we've really tried to make the shul something that is exciting, something that's trendy, and something that speaks to the modern student.
That's encouraged me to try harder, basically.
And that's what our organisation's trying to do. That we're trying to change the paradigm shift. We're trying to change the reality of most university students from thinking that Judaism and the Torah is one-dimensional, and in truth there is a music that runs behind the whole of the Torah that is so peaceful, so tranquil, and that is what we try and encourage to all the students.
Lewandowski was born in Poland in 1821. Due to the premature death of his mother at an early age and living in extreme poverty, Louis was sent to Germany at the tender age of 12. In 1844, he was invited by the Jewish community of Berlin to organize and lead a choir. It was here that Lewandowski, with the encouragement of Cantor Lichtenstein, started to compose prayers in 4-part harmony. Inspired by choral music and the organ, today his compositions and melodies are sung in synagogues around the globe.
One, two, three.
Music is my passion in my life. I'm passionate about early music and orchestral music and Jewish music. I heard at the end of 2011 that there was going to be a festival of Lewandowski in Berlin. And I've always been passionate about Lewandowski since the first time I heard his music. And I thought a festival of this kind of music in his hometown, inviting choirs from around the world to participate, is something that I can't miss. So I booked a holiday to Berlin and came back with a dream, firstly, to start a choir singing that kind of music with men and women singing together as the music was originally intended, and also to take that choir to the festival in Berlin the following year. And it's miraculous to say that 2 years later, both dreams have come true. Lewandowski was the first composer of Jewish music to really write for choir. Lewandowski's music was based on the theory that it encouraged congregational singing. So at some points in his shul, he didn't even have a choir. If you were a middle-class person living in Europe in the 1800s, reading music and sight singing would be a skill that you would learn as part of your education, whatever field you were in. And the entire congregation of 3,000 would sing along in perfect 4-part harmony. Another addition that he made is he introduced the organ into shul music, which was obviously quite controversial at the time. Lewandowski's music also incredibly fused two styles of music. He drew inspiration from the church music of Germany at the time, and he also drew inspiration from the modes, the nusach, and ancient melodies of Jewish music, and he tied those two together. So the melodic and thematic material comes from Jewish sources, whereas the style of harmony and the style of music comes from the church music of the time. He was incredibly popular. I mean, he was appointed as musical director at the Neue Synagogue in Berlin, in Oranienstrasse, which was the biggest shul built in Berlin at the time. And today it's kind of sung in every shul across the world, usually just in unison. So many tunes that are just sung as part of what anyone expects from any shul service are Lewandowski tunes that have been stripped of their choral substance and, in fact, musicality in many cases.
understood, above all, the meaning of every prayer, every psalm, and he wrote his music in a manner that would give impetus and feeling to the words. Lewandowski's music is never frivolous.
A lot of the music is really sublime. Once you get beyond the technical requirements that's needed to perform this music, it's really hard to describe. I think it's really joyful for me to first of all be singing with people, and it touches me. The music really touches me.
You feel the tradition and the history coming through in the music, and it makes you proud of your heritage and of your Jewishness.
Everything that he took was infused with Judaism in some way or other. He wrote organ preludes for every service that was held in the shul, and that organ prelude would draw on the nusach from that service, the traditional nusach from that service, and it would be unmistakably Jewish organ music. So it wasn't about assimilation as much as the fact that Western classical music had without question reached the height of music in the world at the time. So being inspired by what really was the greatest music in the world and has ever been the greatest music in the world, he drew from that and infused it with Judaism.
We've come to the end of this week's episode of Simcha. Thank you so much for joining us. We always like to hear your feedback, so please find us on Facebook at Spirit Sister Productions. From myself, Eitan Berger, and the whole team here at Simcha, thank you for joining us and have a great week.